Today we're unboxing Transformers the deck building game from Renegade Game Studios. I'm Mark Maya, and this is Board Game Coffee.
Vincent, get back here this instant!
Thank you. Oh, I love you too. I couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, who's been waiting for this one? I have. Okay, here's the thing. This isn't wrapped up because this is a prototype. But if this prototype is anything like the Power Rangers prototype, then it's going to be damn near perfect because I don't think much changed from the Power Rangers prototype to the final, and it looked just as good. So I'm very excited to see what's in here. Now, here's the thing. Brittany has seen what's in here because when this came to my door, I heard a little bit of rattling and that like cards were loose. So being that this is a prototype, I figured they just weren't wrapped up and kind of rolling around in there. So I had her go through and make sure everything was organized for me so when I opened this, it wasn't just a mess. And this unboxing is going to be more of like a show and tell. Because I did read through the rulebook, not the one that came in here, but a PDF I have. I did read through that because we're going to be doing some more content for this. Now, to join me in this unboxing, I brought Starscream, Megatrons, and the Optimus Primes. I had more stuff, but I didn't think I'd be able to fit it on camera. I thought I'd start knocking stuff over. So, this is what I brought. And I kept it to the traditional stuff, stayed away from the movie, stick with the classics. Being a child that was born in the 70s and grew up in the 80s, I am a huge fan of Transformers. Transformers and G.I. Joe were my jam. And ever since this has been in the house, all that's running through my head is, you know, more than meets the eye. I cut that a little short, but let's do this unboxing. And I know I talked through that, which I normally don't, but that was super smooth. Perfect transformation from closed box to open box. Let's touch on this art. Love this art. Love that they went with the classic and kind of ditched the whole crazy Michael Bay thing where I can't make out where their face and body begin. It's just a disaster. I like this so much more. This appeals to me. It calls to me. Okay, here we go. Let's see what's inside. And then I'll talk you through as much gameplay as I know. Again, I read through the rule book one time. And last night, and I think it's stuck. I'm going to be playing this tonight. I'll probably read that rulebook one more time, but I was excited to share this. Get ready? Here we go. Okay, alrighty. So, we got a rulebook. Now, this rulebook, yep, just like the PDF, it looks like a lot, but a lot of this text is saved for like card breakdowns, like which each card does, how they work, like different card types. There's reference, and there's also like examples of gameplay. So which are really helpful, actually. I usually don't read the examples of gameplay, but for this one, I found it really helped because they're introducing a lot of cool new things. That this is very different than the Power Rangers game. So if you haven't played the Power Rangers game yet, you should. That's awesome. But this one is completely different from how I read it. It's just different. Main thing is I thought it was going to be one player plays the Autobots, the other plays the Decepticons. But it's not. It's both players play the Autobots against the Decepticons. Now, if you're playing cooperative, then you guys work together, slaughter some nasty robots, and then share the points. I believe. I didn't read much on cooperative because tonight we are playing competitive. So I focus more on that. And in the competitive, you're still going around trying to kill Decepticons, but it's the person who has the most points in the end wins. So who's the best Decepticon killing machine, I assume, and point earner. There's other ways to gain points other than just killing Decepticons. But you can also assist people even though they're not on your team. But you're not assisting them to necessarily help them. You're assisting them because there's this mechanic where if I'm playing you, if you're attacking a Decepticon and I'm in range of assisting you, I can assist you if you're damaged. If it's like a basic robot, there's this damage mechanic. If you're damaged, I can assist you. That way, you have to accept my assistance. There's other rules around that, but in a lot of cases, you have to accept it. So, you accept it, and then you, that's if you're damaged, you have to accept my assistance. Then if you win, or we win, because I helped, we both get the reward. And you don't want that. You don't want me getting a reward for your kill, but you know, hey, that's how it works. And if there's like multiple players, you get to choose who assists, but the more damage you have on you, the more assists you have to accept. If you're fighting a boss, then you don't have to be damaged to be assisted. People can just jump in because bosses are like, they take more damage, and then all of a sudden, when you accept assists, and here's the thing, when you assist somebody, you play a card face down. You're like, I'm assisting you with this. And then everybody does that, and then as the person who actually initiated the attack, you're going to be like, okay, or the confrontation is what it's called, I'm going to take yours, and you flip it. And you're like, oh, that wasn't enough. Now I got to show somebody else's. And then there's like, okay, that put me over the top. I did enough damage to kill the robot, or the boss. But if I picked you first, that would have been enough, and then I wouldn't have had to share my reward with. It's not shared, as in, it's not split. Everybody gets a copy of it. But the least amount of people I take assist from, the less amount of points that I'm basically giving out for free, because it's cheap to get in on an assist. Basically, you're getting as many points, almost as many points as the person that started the attack. Sorry, I'm rambling. It sounds very interesting. Very interesting. Let's go through this. So we got counters. And these counters here, so there's movement, so which you track movement. I don't remember what these were for. I'm guessing it's like your power. And these ongoing, I believe, yep, on the back they should say start of turn. So if a card has a start of turn effect or an ongoing effect, you mark it with that. And then, oh yeah, and there's standees. And the standees look pretty freaking cool. Like the art on them look pretty cool. And you actually move around the matrix, which is the area where you buy cards from, which is very different from a lot of other deck building games. So that's cool. That's cool. So these things, oh, here is some standee things. What do we got here? I'm trying to focus on just what's in my hand and not like sneak a peek ahead, but I can't. Okay, these are the standee. Well, you get these things to stick this in there, but it's clearly not working with me today. I don't want to like damage the card and push it in. I'll try to give that a go later. So let's put that back. What? Energon cubes. I can't believe you actually get Energon cubes. Well, I can't believe, but what I'm trying to say is I can't believe I have Energon cubes. Look at this. Look at that. That looks so pretty. That's awesome. I love that it comes with Energon cubes. They're actual cubes. Like as a kid, I always wanted Energon cubes, and now finally, as an adult, I've achieved my dreams. That's so cool. Like I knew there was going to be cubes in here, but I didn't know. I thought they were. I don't know what they were. I don't know what to expect, but I didn't expect them to look pink and cool. Like they actually look like Energon cubes. Sorry if you see me picking at my finger. If you notice, I usually have wraps on my hands. And that's because I have this like condition that eats away the skin on my fingers for some reason. It doesn't affect anything else, just there. It's not contagious. But for some reason, it's been gone for like 3 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I'm cured. And I haven't done an unboxing in a while. And then today, I was going to do an unboxing, and it started this morning. It's like it knew. So, these are awesome. These look wicked. Now, this is like a currency from what I've read. Now, the reason I didn't know it looked like this, because, let me check out these are the character cards. That's what it looks like in the rulebook. Looks like that thing. So, it's not like, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be a cool, clear, pink thing. No, that's so much better. That's so much nicer. Anyways, these are your character cards, so this is who you play with, the characters you can play with. And each of them have their Autobot side, and they have their vehicle side, which is called their alt side. So, we got Ratchet, and each side has their own abilities. You have abilities that some of them cost Energon cubes. And then you have that's an ongoing effect. This is a move currency, so you use that to move, and I believe all the vehicles would have a move. Yeah, they all have a move value. So it makes sense, you can move better in your vehicle form. So they all have, different abilities. I'm gonna go through what each of their abilities are. That's pretty cool. Those are, yeah, so we got Ratchet, Prime, Bumblebee, Ironhide, Wheeljack, and RC. And for you newbies, it's Optimus Prime, not just Prime. We're buddies. We're good. So that's what we call each other. Well, I call him. He doesn't talk. He's just a toy. Okay. And we also got these, which were called Encounters. Correct. Love the artwork on that, by the way. On the back of that. It's nice. I kind of want to copy that for my wall without the word encounter in the middle. But encounters do all kinds of things. So here's, I'm going to flip through them quick and then I'll discuss how they work. Ish. Again, don't take what I say for like gospel because I've only read the rule books once. So I'm trying to go by late night reading memory. But when you attack or engage an enemy, there's like two levels. There's bosses and then there's your regular basic robots, your basic Decepticons. And when you attack them, or when you walk into their space, that's it. If you walk into the area where they are, you get ambushed. And if they show up where you are, you also get ambushed. Anyways, you get ambushed if you end up on the same space as them. And then you flip one of these cards and you do whatever ambush thing it has. But then if you confront, boss confrontation. If you confront, I'm trying to remember the wording, a boss, Decepticon boss, then you take all these cards, you shuffle them up, and then you're going to be like, bam! He does this. What is this? This one says, add 1 to the adversary's cost for each energon you control. If you have none, gain 2 damage instead. So this one, actually, I think that's the exact example they gave in the rulebook, which is, if I have 4 energon cubes on me and the boss's health was at like 8, it would be now at 12. So I'd have to do more damage. So they're getting like pumped up because of my energon. And what is this? There seems to be one card here pulled out and separated and sleeved. I don't know why. Is it a misprint or something? I'm just going to leave it. This is a basic card, so there's more of these. So we'll get to see more of them. I'm just going to leave that one as is. And then all that remains here now is the cards, the main deck, and there's lots. So let's just go through this. Actually, before I go through these, one thing I want to tell you is here's the main premise of the game that I read. I thought was really freaking cool. Let's see if I can get RC in this little standy thing. Come on, RC. Come on. I did it. I got her in there. But funny thing is, for the sake of the video, I'm going to be laying her down. Okay, so this is how it works. Now, in most deck building games, you'll have a row of cards. Like these are all organized, apparently. As I mentioned, Brittany did. She did a good job. So these are all going to be the same right now. But usually you get a card like a pile like this, and you're like, buy from that row, right? So, but not in the Transformers game. In the Transformers game, you're working the Matrix, and the Matrix is built up out of a grid of cards. Normally, I wouldn't know what these cards are. A whole bunch of them are allies, obviously, and relics, because that's the way they organized. But let's say, I think, if I remember correctly, for 2 players, I think it's a row that's 3 by 4 or 4 by 3. So this, can we see this on camera? It's close enough. Let's get in there. So let's get, there you go. Get her in there. So here's how this works, from what I remember. Now, you'll also have some cards here in your main deck over here, but I just want to kind of go over how the main Matrix portion of it goes. This is cool. So when you start off, you put your Autobot wherever you want. And then you can spend move points to move around the grid, orthogonally. If you have a flight ability, then you can move, or flight points, you can move diagonally. Now, you can also use a point to flip a card that you're on, which is search, I think. Then you flip it, and you're like, bam! Oh, I just discovered a relic. So while I'm here, if I can generate 8 power, I can buy that relic, put it in my deck. Good to go. I don't remember when the deck fills up. I'm assuming it'd probably be at the end of the turn. There's probably a turn reference card in there somewhere. Or something. Oh. Turn sequence. Yeah, there you go. So I don't remember when you do that, but it's all right. At some point, because this isn't how to play, I just kind of want to tell you. So yeah, you buy cards like this. So that's how you buy them. You don't know where you're going, and then you're investigating, and you flip it over, and you're like, ooh, I can buy that. But if you flip it, let's pretend this, I know which is an ally, let's pretend that's a Decepticon. If I end up here at some point, and I flip it, and it's a Decepticon, I get ambushed. So then I can attack that by paying the whatever cost. This would be a lame. Decepticon is only cost 2, because it's just an ally. Kyle. It's Kyle. And then I get to put that in my vault, and my vault is this thing that I don't play with, but at the end, whatever cards I have in my vault score me points. And what's neat is there are certain ways for me to flip cards that my my opponents are on, the other Autobots. So let's say Kyle, let's pretend Kyle's face down. RC flips over this one where Bumblebee's on. He gets ambushed because I triggered that enemy, even though I triggered it from here, which is possible to do. There's some cards that allow you to do that. I read it in I don't know which card that is because I read it in the PDF and the cards art was really small. But yeah, so that's what would happen. And if we were both on it, we would both get ambushed. And then if that was, let's say this one is military transport. Let's pretend it's Megatron. If I was here, then I could do then I would confront them. And that's when I would do that thing where I told you where I would flip. I think I told you. Did I go over that? Where you would show you'd flip this card randomly and be like, yeah, I'm going to do this ability. And that's what the boss is going to do to you as a bonus to whatever he does. So, and if you're confronting a boss, then your opponent has a chance, because let's say he's within range 1 and he's got cards that target things within range 1. He can assist you, and then he scores and gets in on some of those boss killing points. I'm really going kind of like everywhere here with this, because I'm trying to get through this quickly just to give you an idea. And also, this I thought was a really cool mechanic, is if you get a relic. Now, relics are fairly powerful cards, according to the rulebook. I don't know, I haven't played with them. But there it says Vault, 3 VP at the end of the game. So you don't get any points when you get this game. It has to be, or when you get this card, it has to be in your vault to earn points. Thing is, once it's in your vault, you can't play with it. So when you buy the card, you can either, I believe you buy the card, you can put it in your vault right away. I think that's the thing. Or when it comes through your deck and you get to play it, after you've played it, at the end of your turn, you can put it in your vault. Or you can just put it back in your discard pile so you can play it again if it comes around. But if you hold on to it too long, because you like its superpower, you just keep playing it and playing it and playing it, you might come to a point where the game will just end, because maybe your opponent will kill the third boss, or you'll kill the third boss, or something will happen that triggers the end of the game, or you run out of cards. And if this isn't in your vault, then you don't get any points for it. So you have this kind of trade-off you have to make. Do I put this in my vault to gain points at the end of the game, or do I use it for its powerful ability during the game? Because once it's in the vault, it's gone. But if I don't get it into the vault in time, it's worthless. I thought that was really cool. I'm very excited to try the mechanic out. All right, so that's the gist of how this plays. And yeah, these tokens that I mentioned, I showed you already. When you use cards to move, here's another thing that's different. Again, I'm using cards that aren't exactly proper. But let's say, whatever, doesn't matter since I'm not using it right. If I use this card to move, we're not using the matrix anymore. Now this is my hand. You actually indicate that you've used one move off that card, or if it had multiple moves. So if this was your hero, I think. Yeah, try that again. If you use your hero, if your hero offers move points, where are your heroes? Where are the heroes? Oh, there we go. So let's say Ratchet here. He offers 2 move points. If I use one of those, indicate that I used one. If I use the other one, then I'll just put another point on them. And there's things to buff up other cards, like there's energy. So if you get +1 on energy, you mark it with there. So there's all these cool things that you can use to like track actions that you do with your cards and or what you do to your cards. Now, one thing that's very interesting is, I'm gonna put these cards back in my hand. Let's dismantle the matrix. And the size of the matrix depends on how many players are playing. The size I had laid out here was for 2 players. Again, if I remember correctly. So let's say this was my hand. Way too many cards. You get like 5 or 6 cards? 5 cards. I think you have 5 cards in your hand. So let's say this is my 5 cards. When you play, unlike a lot of deck building games, you just play and you'll be like, bam, 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 bam. You know what? I'm just going to put these cards away. And it'll be like, okay, these actually generate no power at the moment, but let's say they did. They'll generate power, they'll generate move, they do whatever. And then you just kind of have this imaginary pool that you're pulling from. So, and then you just spend that throughout the game. But in this game, if you lay down cards and something happens where you lose that card, if you haven't used that card's ability or taken advantage of the power it produced, you don't get that power. So in this game, unlike a lot of other deck building games, it's important that you play it once at a time, spend it, play it, spend it. And there's also an exhaust system that tracks, like you exhaust things to track if you've used that thing's power or move or whatever currency it has on it. Oh, and also another thing, last thing before we go into all the cards, there's also this, let's see if I can find it on one of these. Let's start flipping some cards over. There's also, let's see, move, where's range? Here we go. If you look here, that number 1 in the little reticule, that is your range. So I can use 2 power at range 1, which means a few things. I can attack an enemy 1 space away, or I can buy a card 1 space away, which is cool. So where you buy cards, it's not like other deck building games where you can buy whatever you want. You have to be within range or on that card to buy the card or to interact with the card. That's also a very, very cool mechanic. So like placement, where you're positioned, is very important. Now, there's not a lot of deck building games. There's one that comes to mind, which I won't mention right here. It was good too. But there's one that comes to mind that does that. But this is different because it's on a grid. And I don't think I've played one that's on a grid and you have to move around to buy things. So, neat. I'm very excited to try this. Okay, let's go through these cards and then we'll wrap it up. And then I can get ready to play. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so these are your starter cards, as in like every deck building game has like 10 starter cards or 12 starter cards that you start with. So these are basics. Oh, and if you ever see an ability like this at the bottom, that means it costs an energon cube to do this. Because this says confront, that means you can only use it during a confrontation with a boss. So there's a bunch of those. Yeah. Got firepower, which does what I mentioned just now. There is patrol, which looks like it just, what is that? You may flip a card in an adjacent space face up. Oh! Remember I said you could, that example I said you could flip cards face up and then cause the other player to get ambushed? Well, that was it. There's fix and reserves. So those are, you're gonna get those cards. I believe you get 10 of them. I don't remember how many of each you get, but that's how that works. Okay, so let's go through a bunch of these. Go through them quick. If they're, well, I'll just go through them quick. There we go. So, okay, Decepticon scheme. I believe these are in both, I'm not sure if this is in both co-op and competitive, but it's definitely competitive. And they stay on the board and they have this ongoing effect or start of turn effect. And then to thwart them, you have to do what it says here, and then you can get rid of it, and then you'll have some points at the end of the game for it. But yeah, they have cool effects on the game, like I think this one, if I read that correctly. Robots in the Matrix are treated as adversaries. So that means you can attack the good guys. Again, I haven't played yet. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that. I guess to get points for them, because you can't put adversaries in your vault because they're not worth points. I guess, I don't know, can you? I don't know if you can. Okay, so we got some bosses. Astro Train, Devastator, Soundwave. Loved Soundwave, is one of my favorites. Also, fan of Starscream. Blitzwing. Blitzwing was cool. I like playing with this toy. And Megatron. Loved Megatron. Okay, so we got dropship. So we got technology cards that do things like you may move target character up to 2 spaces. Yeah. Probably just drive them right into an enemy. So there's 2 of each of these. Like, I think Renegade's killing it with these licensed deck building games. So we got, our Decepticons are all different. Oh yeah, Rumble. What was the other one? I like Laserbeak was actually my favorite of the cassette of Soundwave's little minions. Okay. Oh, and these are basic cards, as in there should be a stack of these. Yeah. So these are basically like, again, it's like a typical deck building game mechanic where there's always like one card. If you're broke, you can always buy this, and they're always handy to help build up your deck at the beginning. So there's a bunch of those. And these cards let you transform and assist. I think I mentioned the assist dealio, where you can help a person fight a boss, whether they want you there or not. Well, this will give you +1 if you're using this to assist. So that's neat. And then we have, damage. So when you get damaged, if I understood this correctly, you take your character, and then you place a damage icon beside them, or a damage card beside them. And it has an effect like, what does it do? It says, when battling an adversary, you must resolve 1 assist. So you have to take help if you're damaged, even if you want it or not, which is bad for you because it's giving points away to your competition. And it says, end of game, for every 2 damage you control, lose 1 VP. So you just want to get rid of these. They're just not good. This whole scene is reminding me of the animated movie scene in the beginning. It's just, it hurts my heart. Where were they? No! Those are the starter cards. I'm getting all confused. Then we got maneuvers. And they do things like, you may transform. And they have a little cube ability at the bottom. Or energon ability. Oh, and they have blocks. That's right, you can block attacks. Which is handy. Well, I assume it's handy in other deck building games. And sights. Sights do different things. I don't remember exactly. Like this, you place energon cubes on them, and you can pay something to get energon cubes off, I think. I'm not actually reading these. But sights are, I think you have to be on them to use them in most cases. Take advantage of little bonuses. And then there's all the Autobots you can recruit for your deck by paying their cost. And that's the thing, there's actually no difference in cost. To battle or to buy, it's the number in the corner. And then cooperative schemes obviously only work in cooperative games. So let's go through those quickly. Oh, those are relics. Too quick. And relics, as I mentioned, powerful abilities that you can either use or vault. And you have to kind of balance what you want to do because you don't want to miss out on cool points. Oh, it's Jetfire. Love Jetfire. Oh, he's a relic? That's cold. I love Jetfire. That episode with Jetfire in the original cartoon, it brought a tear to my young eyes. And then we got our allies, and these are ongoing effects. You get allies, and they I think they stay in front of you. I don't know if they go right in front of you. Oh yeah, when bought or gained, put into play. So they just stay and play in front of you doing whatever it is that they do. And that was it for the Transformers deck building game show and tell unboxing. That was probably the most information I've ever had for any unboxing video we've ever done, but I think I covered everything in here. And again, we've got some more content coming out for this, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week. See ya. Thanks for joining us. If you like this video and you want to see more, subscribe to our channel. It's the best way to keep up to date with everything we do here at Board Game Coffee. But if you want to see more right now, we got plenty of videos to choose from. And if that's not enough, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Mark Maya, and this is Board Game Coffee. And remember, have fun, keep gaming, be social. See you next week.